Live from the Grenadian capital, this is the GBN television news. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
We are taking pride in outstanding performance. We are encouraging and recognizing innovation. We are committed to continuously doing things better, with enhanced services coming soon. Yes, we are here for you. Check us out today for your financial need. GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
This is the GBN television news for Tuesday, the 23rd of March, 2021. I'm Chrislyn, Lashington. In the headlines, Grenada signs Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine deal. Dr. Francis Martin says his resignation as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health is to rekindle his passion for clinical medicine. Republic Bank launches its National Learn to Swim Week for 2021. Public officers take it to the streets of St. George's. Former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas joins us live. In around the globe, Guyana receiving less doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine from the COVAX facility, and prison officers in Antigua protesting for better working conditions. Coming up in sports, UK-based Spice Boys traveling to El Salvador for World Cup qualifiers initially refused entry by immigration officials. And Cedric Marquez and Anique Bonaparte take major titles in Junior Table Tennis Championship over the weekend. We have details right after this message.
There's no better way to start your day than with me on Good Morning Grenada. Covering everything you need to start your mornings off right. 6:35 a.m. on weekdays on all GBN platforms. Good Morning Grenada, adding a little blossom to your mornings.
Good evening. This is GBN's news at 7. They led the march from the front. The outgoing and newly elected leaders of the Grenada Union of Teachers and the Public Workers Union. The militant unions, as they transition between leaders, signaled to government that they are not backing away from the fight for their 4% increase in salaries. Members of the PWU were a welcomed addition to the struggle, which had been previously led or dominated by teachers. Jared Joseph has the latest developments.
While it should have been a normal day in the last week of the second school term, dozens of teachers rallied to the call of their union, the Grenada Union of Teachers. Least not forgotten in the fight for the 4% increase in salaries were members of the Public Workers Union. It was indeed a sea of red and white, and outgoing PW President Rachel Roberts says they are sending a resounding message to members.
Well, the baton has been passed on, and the baton would be passed on the 30th of this month exactly. And therefore, we need to see that we continue the struggle. The struggle continues. It does not matter who is leading the struggle must continue.
GUT President Marvin Handel, who is also passing on the baton, tells GBN they are sending a strong signal to government.
The fact is that the longer the government takes to settle this outstanding payment, the more intense the struggle will become. And teachers are resolute. Other public officers are joining in, and we are demanding that with the surge in the increase in prices, that it is absolutely necessary for workers to have some relief by having a 4% added to the salary.
Many would be concerned that so much teachers are outside here. What is happening to the children in the schools?
Teachers always ensure that the children are safe, and measures were in place to ensure the safety of students.
Roberts impressing on PW's participation, says it is all about solidarity and ensuring government honor the collective agreement by paying the 4% salary increase.
Public officers always believe that they need to have their 4%. And as a union, this is about solidarity. When we have a struggle, the struggle is about all of us. No person, no one is extinct from this struggle. All of us are involved in it. And all of us must stand up in unity and strength and demonstrate that this 4% is about respect, is about the law, is about respecting the law of Grenada. And our Prime Minister has demonstrated, our employer, not Prime Minister, but employer, has demonstrated that they have no respect for public officers, for public servants on a whole, for anybody in this country who stand up for their rights.
Government has maintained its inability to pay until December 2021. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Now, the flyers said it all. The public sector unions, its executives and members in a sea of red and white flooded the streets of St. George's in their continued fight for payment of their 4% salary increases. The protesters journeyed from the Green Bridge area in River Road onto St. George's and then marched onwards to the ministerial complex. GBN caught up with the march just as they were leaving the Green Bridge area.
Flyers were backed by the chants of the public officers, which rang throughout the town as motorists and pedestrians alike gave pause to the proceedings. The protest march slowly built momentum just outside of the city before prancing onto Melville Street, bringing a halt to traffic while creating a few detours led by police. The newly elected presidents of the Grenada Union of Teachers and the Public Workers Union were seen actively leading from the front, displaying their militancy and fighting spirit. The creativity, which is normally seen during Labor Day celebrations, were vividly apparent on the placards of the public officers. Many of the placards displayed demanded the payment of the 4% salary increase while highlighting the woes of public servants during a time of depression brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. A week of activities has been planned by the unions as the school term comes to a close. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Public officers continue to demand their 4% salary increase despite government's counter-proposal to pay by Christmas. In the midst of the battle are students. Our guest tonight is former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas. Welcome and thank you, sir, for joining us.
It's a pleasure being with you.
Now, there's no end in sight for this impasse. Teachers say their actions are not negatively affecting the students. Government issued its warning. Would you say there is a winner in this ongoing episode, and are the students just a pawn in a game?
Well, first, we have to accept that government has a responsibility to ensure the smooth functioning of our institutions and our society at large. The paramount responsibility rests with the government. So the teachers are demanding what they're legally entitled to. And the government ought to do what is necessary to ensure that the school system is functioning smoothly. So government has to take that responsibility. The teachers also have a responsibility, but a paramount responsibility. And if education is a priority for this government, they would pay the teachers what they're entitled to.
And would you say, in your opinion, is it are public officers being unreasonable in their demand for their 4% at this time, given the fact that we've just experienced or still experiencing a pandemic?
No, but based on what the government has been spending on, therefore government could pay the teachers. If, for instance, they look at the Green Leg deal, the government just hired an advisor. Government has been spending money in other areas, but public officers ought to be given some regard and some respect. And the students to government must show some regard for our students, because it is the government responsibility. Government has been, to a certain extent, undermining our institutions. That approach toward the school, refusing to pay the 4%, the refusal of the government to honor the decisions of the court is undermining the judicial system. The government constantly hiring contract workers and victimizing public officers is weakening and undermining the public service. So this government seems to be on a track of undermining institutions, and the people have to stand up for what is right. And I believe the teachers, they have to stand up for what is right, and government should pay the teachers what they do to them, and at the same time show some regards for our children, because our children they are the future, and education is a priority. If this government regards education as a priority, they will bring an end to this impasse.
Now, government issued a news release on Monday informing about its intent to assist the Grenada Airports Authority by contributing $1 million each month for the rest of 2021. You mentioned government spending money. Would you say that this is baiting public officers?
Well, again, where the priority lies. I mean, I believe that government should show some regards for those who are contributing toward the state machine, those who are working for the state, and the public workers should be given some regards. The airport is important, but is it a thing to you?
All right, we've just heard from former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas, a keen observer of the developing political climate. Now we move on. Of course, this is News at 7. Coming up, Grenada signs up for a new COVID vaccine. We'll be right back.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future and here to help you celebrate your achievements. We continue to be here even when the future seems unclear, because one thing is certain. You're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Need a quick, convenient way to pay your bills and avoid lines? Use the online banking feature from Republic Bank, First Caribbean, or Co-op Bank. Contact them today to set up your online banking and enjoy 24-hour convenience to make your bill payments. Stay safe. Grenlec, we are united even when we are apart.
The first round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Grenada versus the U.S. Virgin Islands at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Your Spice Boys are back in action. Tuesday, 30th March, 1 p.m. sharp, with no fans in the stands. No fans?
Well, we're making our own party.
We're broadcasting live on Flow Grenada, channels 1000 and 1001.
And I'll be streaming that on my big screen TV, cooking up pot of oil.
Today, to add your channel for only $20.
Well, it's mass with me and my family.
That's right. Support your 3-time Gold Cup qualifier, Team Grenada. For more info, call or WhatsApp 473-535-2090 or 440-9903. Sponsored by Glenelg Spring Water, Flow, and the Grenada Cooperative Bank.
Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza 0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex or give them a call, 440-401016, or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future and here to help you celebrate your achievement. We continue to be here, even when the future seems unclear. Because one thing is certain, you're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Residents of Chantamel St. Patrick continue to search for one resident, 58-year-old Rodney Bucky Nichols, missing since Friday 19th. The Royal Grenada Police Force updated the media on the situation on Tuesday. Trelawna Charles brings us this update.
Head of the Community Relations Department, Superintendent Vani Cohen, addressed the Chantamel St. Patrick after video circulated on social media showing what appears to be a robbery in progress. Rodney Bucky Nichols, the alleged victim, has been missing. The community blames another resident of Chantamel for terrorizing the community for years and is holding the individual responsible for the missing resident. 3 persons of interest, including the man seen in the surveillance footage, were detained, questioned, and were all released Tuesday morning by the police. Superintendent Cohen said despite the community's speculations, the police have no evidence that suggests the individual accused was involved in Bucky's disappearance.
The community of Chantamel showed force and was very vocal against one of the residents who they think had something to do with the disappearance of Mr. Nichols. As we speak, based on our investigation thus far, and those who were held in custody, there is no evidence to suggest that Curtis Cyrus, alias Mosbride, had anything to do with the disappearance of Bucky at this point.
Regarding the numerous cases against the individual in court, which according to Superintendent Cohen currently stands at 33, he said steps are being taken to have the matters dealt with.
Before all of this happened yesterday, serious efforts were made to spread these matters and ensure that they are not delayed further. We understand the need for justice. We understand what lack of justice can do, and we understand the vigilante justice that will happen if our system does not work the way it is set up and designed to work. To this end, I give the assurance to the public that from the police police perspective, we are doing everything we can, not only in this matter, but in all matters that were brought to our attention to ensure that there is speedy resolution of these matters.
Superintendent Cohen said the focus right now is the safe return of Mr. Nichols.
We're seeking first to find Mr. Nichols. This is our paramount concern right now, reuniting Mr. Nichols with his family. He has 2 young kids, his wife, and we all understand the importance of family. He's the head of his home, and being missing for that long would put a number of psychological pressure on his family. So paramount for us is to find him.
From Monday night, there has been a constant police presence in the village to ensure the safety of everyone involved. Police have issued a notice seeking the public's assistance in locating 58-year-old Rodney Nichols, alias Bucky of Shantimel St. Patrick. Rodney was last seen on Thursday, March 18, 2021, at approximately 8 p.m. at Fountain St. Mark. He's about 5 feet 8 inches in height, slim build, and brown in complexion. Rodney Bucky Nichols was last seen wearing a white long track pants, armless blue and white t-shirt, and blue and white slipper. Anyone who may have information on his whereabouts is asked to contact the nearest police station. Trelona Charles, GBN News.
Grenada signs Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine deal with the Russian Direct Investment Fund to distribute 1 million doses of the vaccine for the CARICOM region. More in this report.
Minister for Health Nicholas Steele has announced a cooperation agreement designed to facilitate the registration and distribution of the Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine in Grenada and the Caribbean community through the Russian District Investment Fund. As part of the agreement, the parties agreed to organize the initial supply of up to 1 million doses of the vaccine to the region under the authorization from the RFID and the Institute. Grenada will serve as a local centralized distribution point in the region and undertake the logistics and regulatory approval for the vaccine. Sputnik was developed by Russia's National Research Institute of Epidemiology and Microbiology for COVID-19. The Sputnik V vaccine has been registered in more than 50 countries, and as of February 21st, vaccination with Sputnik V has started or is starting in more than 20 countries besides Russia. Minister Steele says the vaccine will be introduced to the island.
What we have in the stream that will quite likely be the next set would be the Sputnik and Sinopharm vaccines. We will have another shipment down the road of AstraZeneca, but in between there will be shipments of Sputnik and Sinopharm, which is also not just us, but all of the OECS and CARICOM countries as well are following that. That is part of the same COVAX WHO facility.
At present, Grenada has recorded 9,503 persons vaccinated so far with the AstraZeneca vaccine, a number that the Minister of Health is not pleased with. He said at this rate, Grenada will vaccinate a reasonable size of its population in 9 months. Minister Steele gave an update on Grenada's current COVID-19 status.
We currently have 3 active cases of COVID-19 in Grenada. All 3 persons are travel-related, have recently come into Grenada. They're all in quarantine, 2 from the United States, 1 from Jamaica. That brings our total to 155 positive cases in Grenada. We also currently have 252 people in quarantine, which is travel-related quarantine. They will remain there until medically cleared.
The minister was speaking at government's weekly post-cabinet briefing. For GBN News, I am Rina Pear reporting.
Dr. Francis Martin made his last appearance as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health on Tuesday during government's weekly post-cabinet briefing. His reason for quitting is to start a new journey. More in this report.
Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Francis Martin, says that his move to resign is a personal one, with his intent to rekindle his passion for clinical medicine. Martin, who has been in the public service for 20 years, sent in his resignation letter last Friday, with effect on Thursday, 1st April. He explains that the transition is just another stepping stone in his life.
I have given 20 years of service in the public, and every 10 years I make a very significant move. The first one was when I decided to leave the emergency room after 10 years of work in the emergency room to take up the role as public health specialist, and that's when I did my master's. By then I made a decision to do administrative medicine. Today marks another 10 years, and I figured it's time for maybe the next chapter. So I had a chance to review what my life is really about, and I figured that clinical medicine is where my heart really lies. I love seeing patients. I love taking care of people, and that gives me the best joy and the most comfort. And so I have made a decision after speaking with my family to transition into clinical practice.
The announcement of the resignation of the permanent secretary caused an unexpected uproar among the general public, as seen in various posting on social media. The doctor reassures Grenadians that he will still be rendering his services to the Ministry of